Hey, what's your name and what do you do?
Yeah, it's great to be here. Thanks for inviting me on your show. I'm Nate. Been a contributor to the on-chain gaming space since 2021, and currently I am the lead curator of the gaming district. So I've been, working with all these game teams that are showcasing throughout the week of Devconnect on getting all the PCs set up with the different games, and yeah, to ensure that the Devconnect attendees can see what's the current state of gaming on Ethereum.
Amazing. And I'm interested in like on-chain gaming, so I walked through here and was curious to chat with you a bit. So can you tell me what are the like biggest like the what games did you invite to like showcase here, and what companies and games?
Sure. So how I approach this is, there's, for example, currently, if you look at the mindshare on crypto Twitter, you can see that the games that are getting the most attention are most often quite different from the ones that we're spotlighting throughout the week of the showcase here. So what my approach was, it was to select kind of some of the giants, some of the games that I'm personally familiar with, but also that I appreciate and that I've played in the past, that I can like personally verify that these are great games. So I tried to select a few of those, but then the majority of the games that make up kind of the 6 days of the gaming district here are kind of more smaller teams, more experimental games, games that are really pushing the boundaries of on-chainness, right? Whereas you can have like a Web 2.5 title with NFT asset collection. On the other hand, you can have games that are, like, their full game state is fully on-chain. The games are like unstoppable, live on the blockchain. So kind of that was my approach. And when it comes to selecting the different L2s, I was mostly like just thinking about the games themselves. I wasn't like picking the L2 first, you know? But I can say that the majority of the games that make up the gaming district are probably, the first one is Starknet, second one is Ronin, third one would be then Abstract, and then you have probably like one or two games from several of the L2s. Like just from the top of my head, we had Beacon here from Arbitrum yesterday, great game. I think they're coming back tomorrow. We're having some base games. Just right now we're spotlighting Remix, the mobile game, as well as Farm Friends. I know that we had, there's a Sonium game as well. Different L2s. Try to do a little bit of kind of, all around. But yeah, definitely, as I said, having some of the giants of crypto games alongside some of the kind of more experimental indie titles with like very small budgets and whatnot. So I can go into like specific games as well if you're curious.
I think when I think of like biggest on-chain games, well, I know like probably Axie Infinity. It's like a lot of it is on-chain. I so yeah. I'm curious about like currently. What do you think are like the most interesting like trends or like in on-chain games?
Sure. I mean, interesting trends. I would say I'm seeing this progression towards open world MMOs. Where maybe if we go a few years back, like CryptoKitties, Axie Infinity, we started with this kind of more simple breeding games, right? Things that just kind of like clicked with the audience that we have in crypto. But then we're seeing this progression to MMOs or like open world games, where even a game that might have started in a simple format is now going towards its next stage, where the game will become open world.
Like Axie Infinity is moving
Axie
towards.
Infinity is a great example.
They have the new one that they're releasing.
Yes.
That's like I don't know.
Yes, Tila's Legacy, 100%. That's a game that we've been showcasing here as well. So just from the top of my head, we have the XMMO. That's kind of like it's on the radar, and people have been playtesting it here. I played it as well.
It's called XMMO.
It's called Attila's Legacy. Attila's Legacy. But you're utilizing your Axie crew, to play. So the interoperability is really getting pushed. And then, for example, right now we're also spotlighting Gigaverse, on Abstract. Shout out Dith. That's a personal favorite of mine as well. Specifically, I'm a fishing maxi. So
Abstract is is a blockchain.
Abstract is an L2.
L2.
Yes, it's an L2. So yeah, we have like several of these kind of like bigger game teams, more established game teams that are going towards their next evolution. Like also Gigaverse is kind of like slowly going into that direction. Later today we'll also be showcasing Cambria, which is another personal favorite of mine. It's kind of like people don't even know we have RuneScape on Ethereum as well, but we do. So that's Cambria. It's
What's Cambria like? On-chain RuneScape, and what is like RuneScape for people that don't know?
For people who don't know what RuneScape is, RuneScape and EVE Online tend to be the two main examples that people utilize from traditional gaming for what could just work very well in crypto gaming, just because of their very in-depth in-game economies. The in-game economies also live outside on the black market. World of Warcraft is another one because of the World of Warcraft gold. So there's a black market economy for gold.
What is like the RuneScape kind of gameplay like?
Oh, it goes deep. If you're familiar with RuneScape, you're already completely onboarded to Cambria. Like I remember when the first time I went into Cambria, and I think I was killing some pigs or something, and I got bones from the pigs, and then you can bury the bones to get prayer XP. For anyone who's familiar with crypto or with RuneScape, this will just make full sense. This is like a very special mechanic in RuneScape. So there's a lot of similar mechanics, but in my mind, what really makes Cambria special is I used to play RuneScape a lot as a kid, but now I just don't have the time, nor really kind of like the will to actually go deep into an MMO and just start playing it for like months and months and months. But with Cambria was a special thing is they have, for example, their next season is going to be, I believe, 10 days. Gold Rush Season 3, I think starts in late November actually, I believe. And it's like you start RuneScape as a level 1 character, and it only lasts 10 days. So play as much as you can in these 10 days. There's a buy-in if you want to participate in the kind of like actual cash economy. So I think you pay like $25 or something. And after 10 days, depending on how well you played the game, how much silver you ended up with, you're gonna get cash out in Ethereum. So you can just grind a very similar game to RuneScape for as much as you want through 10 days. And yeah, have a lot of fun. I mean, again, I was mostly fishing, even in Cambria, in Gigaverse earlier, as I said. I love fishing games, so the fishing minigame is what I mostly interact with, yeah. And shout out Ben.
Cool. You mentioned earlier that like your favorite game is the Loot Realms.
Yes,
and
100%.
it's on Starknet. I'm curious to learn more about that, hear about that game.
100%, yeah.
What makes it so special, and like what is it?
Yeah. So Loot Realms is the game ecosystem behind Realms Blitz. So this is kind of like the next evolution of Realm Eternum. But yeah, this is by far my favorite game we have in crypto. It's the game that I've played the most over the years. I've been, I think, playtesting the game and leaving like very in-depth feedback to the game developers since probably like early 2022, I would reckon. So I've been very, mentally involved as well, and attached to just like the progression of the game team. But what it is, in essence, is it's a fully on-chain Age of Empires. That's kind of like a simple way to grasp it, I think. If you're a strategy gamer, you will kind of like click with it quite quickly. And how Realms Blitz functions is that it's a 2-hour strategy game. So, and again, how it's going to work when the game is going to be on mainnet, I believe in like later this year, actually it's coming on mainnet. Maybe that's some alpha for you. But it's going to be buy-in. So it's like you load up into a match of like Civilization or Age of Empires. You spend $5. You play for 2 hours. And the victors split the cash. And if you have 50 players, that's $250 pot for a 2-hour match. So you can see why it can be inviting. But the whole game is fully on-chain. So every single thing is tradable. They're really like pushing the limits of what an on-chain game can do, as opposed to some of these other games that we've talked about. For example, the Axie games, Gigaverse, Cambria, and whatnot. Uh, they are mostly off-chain games where you might have some assets in the game, or maybe there's some like verifiable randomness, VRNG. I think some of these games use proof of play VRNG to power some of the on-chain elements, just the randomness part of it. But the game state itself, it doesn't live on-chain. So with Realms Blitz, it does. So they're really pushing the kind of the envelope in terms of what's possible in crypto.
Are they autonomous worlds? And like, can you explain that concept and like what makes it interesting?
Mm-hmm. So I think just a lot of people have their own takes on what the autonomous world is and why it's interesting to them. For me, I like to keep it kind of more simple. What I like about the idea of fully on-chain games and autonomous world games is that it's a game that once launched on mainnet lives on the blockchain. So if we keep it kind of more simple, it will live on the Ethereum blockchain, and until the moment where Ethereum goes down, which I don't believe it's happened in the last 12 years, the game is accessible. So the contracts live on-chain.
So do any of the games in the Root Realms universe, are any of those like autonomous worlds?
Well, I would say that very good examples of just fully on-chain games that are fully live, that exists as contracts on like the starting L2 and then L1 as well on ETH. Good examples of live games. Probably my favorite example that's already live would be for sure Loot Survivor 2. So this is yet another game coming from the Loot project ecosystem and also Loot Realms game ecosystem. It's kind of like a sister project to Realms Blitz. So it's kind of like I would call it a roguelike dungeon crawler. I think that's like a very simple way to grasp it. So you just go deeper and deeper into the dungeon. The entire game state, everything, it all relies on contracts that live on chain. So it will just exist. It will exist into eternity. That's the cool thing. It does need, because these games are getting very advanced, you do need extra infrastructure usually to power it. So here, what a lot of these games, especially on Starknet and games that settle to Celestia oftentimes as well, they utilize that banner we have there. So that's Dojo. Dojo game ecosystem, or like Dojo game engine. It's probably at this point it's the main game engine, open source, that powers kind of this very heavy, fully on-chain game experiences.
And it's been around for a while. The Dojo
it's been around for a while. It's been around for a while. We had Mud and Dojo being kind of like the lead two examples of game engines that power a lot of different things. But with the Mud situation kind of like slowing down a bit, and I think I'm not sure what the situation is there. Dojo just keeps rocking forward. And the Dojo team, they also have an actual infrastructure company kind of like that helps support it, which is called Cartridge. So a lot of these fully on-chain games that we've talked about are all powered by Cartridge, powered by Cartridge VRNG, verifiable randomness, powered by the Cartridge controller. So like a lot of the issues in crypto gaming in the past years stemmed from very hard, slow, clunky onboarding to the game. But Cartridge makes it possible because the controller that they use is like, if you try to, after our interview, if you try to log into one of these games and make an account, like for example for Loot Survivor, even though it's fully on-chain, every single step you take is an on-chain transaction. You won't know anything is happening on chain because everything is taken care of in the background. And then the moment you come to a situation in the game where you might want to claim some kind of an asset because you did well, that's where you'll be enticed to actually make a Cartridge controller account. And even that, if you have an Apple device, it's as simple as scanning your fingerprint and you've created an account. I would say, like the issue is that a lot of the crypto community stopped paying attention to crypto games, like maybe 2 years ago or so, when the market slowed down. But the reality is that now we're at a moment where I think the crypto community, especially the Ethereum community, needs to start paying attention to gaming in crypto again, because it's made leaps since they stopped paying attention to it. So that's why I'm very happy that the Ethereum Foundation is supporting the gaming district here, where like a lot of people don't know, but these game teams are here free of charge. So the Ethereum Foundation has very kindly, invited them to join in without having to spend money, because that's a big issue. These are small teams without budget generally.
Last question, like you're wearing the T-shirt On-Chain Reality Maxi from the Dark Forest game, which is also like a community developed and driven, supported, maintained game that is also like fully on-chain, and it's on Optimism L2. And so, what do you think about like this game, and like what makes it unique, different, and why is it like particularly interesting?
Yeah, sure. We have the whole Dark Forest Punk team here. So this is a fork of the original Dark Forest project. So Dark Forest kind of like started, it was first CryptoKitties in 2017, which was fully on-chain. Not a lot of people know that. But then in, I believe, 2020, Dark Forest came about. And that kind of like set the ground for what people started thinking about when they thought of fully on-chain games. Because you have this huge universe, you have planets, you're sending resources between the planets, you're sending assault ships between the planets, you need to communicate very deeply with the other kind of people in the game. It's a very deep kind of like strategy game that scratches an itch that a lot of gamers have. And these guys, the Dark Forest Punk team, kind of like took Dark Forest and decided to make their own fork and are just continuing it. So they're maintaining it, they're working very hard to make sure the community is engaged around it, and Dark Forest Punk is the team and the game that is the most heavily represented here on site at the gaming district.
There's a lot of like modding in the community as well.
Yeah. I mean, that's the cool thing with fully on-chain games. Like open source games just invite you to look at the code base and to spin up your own little addition to it, or your own tool that interacts with some of the APIs or something. It's very easily bottable as well. That's a big thing here, because like these are very deep strategy games, but you don't need to do everything manually. You can rely on some automation tools, and it's kind of like enticed as well that people do it. And I believe that even specifically for the gaming district, the Dark Forest Punk team created like a much shorter game loop, where you can kind of engage with the game and get a good sense of it just in a 10-minute game loop, where each player spawns with a lot of planets. The players spawn much closer to each other, so you can kind of very quickly start getting into the action.
The game only lasts 10 minutes, and you can do that here. So like it gives you a taste of the game.
Yeah, it gives you a great taste. Whereas the kind of the fuller Dark Forest Punk experience is like it's a grand strategy game where it just takes like weeks and weeks and weeks. And this is what the players like about it as well. But for the gaming district specifically, it made more sense to make something very small. So shout out to the Dark Forest Punk team that they were able to just like in very short notice create this like short game loop that's just very engaging. And even later today, if you'll be around, we'll be doing an 8PC kind of like tournament / competition of Dark Forest Punk. And I hear they have some nice cute little prizes as well for some of the participants, and I'll be playing for sure.
All right, thank you for your time and answering all those questions.
It's amazing. Yeah, thanks for doing this, man.
Cool.